Okie dokie, I'll put that away. Well done. Doing the silent reading. These are our learning intentions for today. So we will be continuing. So Toki, sit up properly. Thank you. We'll be continuing learning and practicing some poetic devices. But first we're going to have a little quick recap of what those are. I have put on your table a poem. It is called The Hurricane, and the author is Bob Dylan. Now, if you are someone like Talia, and Aidan Kindler's just done exactly what I was about to warn you of. If you are someone like Talia, you will find that yours has not been stapled. The photocopier made a mistake there, so some of you I did have time to staple it by hand. However, I remember yesterday when we were talking about some of the features of a poem, someone came up with the word that we use that is the same as a paragraph in a poem. Who can repeat that word for me? So, a verse, you're close. A verse is similar to a sentence that we would read in a book. Artie?
Isn't it like stanza?
No, it's not like stanza. It is the stanza. So, Molly, may I borrow this just for a minute? If you have a look at yours, I've put it in order. So if you've picked it up as I handed it to you, it will be in order. But when you look at this poem, can you physically see how many stanzas has Bob Dylan written on each page? Two. You can see how it looks like there are two smaller paragraphs on here, yeah? What I want you to do, and this will help us to identify or pinpoint what stanza we are looking at. But along the side, could you please number each stanza? 1, 2, 3, 4, etc., etc. There should be 11, so it's back to back. If there are 11 there, that should probably take you no longer than 30 seconds to do. It's the way that I gave it to you. See here? Like that.
Is that the exact way?
Yes, exactly as his is there, it's exactly the same way. Alright, I'm glad that we remembered these terms. Verse and stanza. While you're doing that, let's have a little multitasking. Can somebody tell me what they think the difference would be between a verse and a sentence and a stanza versus a paragraph? Who wants to give me an idea? Summer.
A verse and a sentence is a verse. Like a verse in this is like pistol shots ring out in the barroom at night, but then it's written in a more poetic way compared to a sentence, which is it just could be.
Okay, I know what you're trying to say, so let's just extend it a little bit more. When we are focusing on sentence form, we really need to take a lot of consideration and care with something beginning with G. I heard it. Hugh? Not gorilla. Grammar. And you need to take a lot of care with something beginning with SP. SP. Spelling. It's coming out of your mouth. Yes. grammar and spelling. However, when somebody is writing poetry, because in yesterday's lesson, don't swing on your chair, Aiden, because in yesterday's lesson, we discovered there are many reasons why someone would write poetry. One of those reasons was for creativity, wasn't it? So because poets try to be creative, one thing they ignore sometimes are spelling and grammar rules. We're going to see a little bit of that in this poem we consider today, a little bit later. All right. Yesterday I said that we would be looking at 4 poetic techniques. We only got to 1 because we had some really rich discussions about other things. But can somebody remind me very quickly, what was the poetic device or technique that we went through yesterday? Olivia, could you spell that for me, please? Good. And can somebody tell me very quickly, what is a definition of alliteration? Chrisana.
When you have a sentence with
Consonants, yes.
that have the same sound.
Good. That's one definition. Molly's had her hand up. I'll see what she says. Okay, so the definition we came up with yesterday as a class is what Chrisana paraphrased for us. We have a consonant sound, we repeat it. There was another poetic device that we were going to go through yesterday, and it's maybe not something that we need to spend lots of time on because you probably already know it. Starts with an R, and it rhymes with time. Summer, spell rhyme for me, please.
RHYME.
All right. If we had to define rhyme, Seth, give it a go. What would you say? Can you put your leg down, please? What would you say a rhyme is? If someone said, tell me what a rhyme is.
Well, I think it's rhyme is like when you has the same like kind of like sound, like the alliteration.
Okay. So it's where words have the same sound, or they sound the same, or similar. Do you think they have to sound 100% the same? No. So they could sound very similar. When we practice this a little bit later with a limerick, you will see what I mean by that. All right. 2 very important poetic devices. One begins with an S, one begins with an M. Chrisana. Shay.
Maybe similes.
Not maybe, definitely. You're 100% correct. You know, when I was in high school, it was in I think it was in year 7, we were doing a study on poetry, and I misread this word. I thought it was smile. So when we had to do this big project on similes, I thought it was smile. I put this big smiley face on the front of my project, and I think the teacher was very confused with what I did. Carolina, what is an M?
Metaphor.
Did I spell that correctly?
No.
Well, Aidan Rathbone is on it like this. What did I make a mistake with?
The F is wrong.
Can anyone tell me why they think I deliberately made that mistake? No, not to see if you were concentrating. I know you were. Olivia.
Yesterday we were talking about sounds that sound the same.
Good. Yesterday when we were talking about alliteration, we were focusing on the sound, and PH can make an F sound. Very clever. We're going to watch a little video, and this video actually defines and gives us examples of similes. I'm sure you probably have some idea of what it is already. Are you right, Satoki? Yeah. Okay, good. I want you to really concentrate on this. And let's have a little listen and watch. I'll just make sure that the volume's up. Yep, there we go. Oh. What happened there? Skip ad. Okay, there we go. So, these two lovely cartoons are going to talk to us and sing to us a little bit the differences of similes and metaphors, because they are similar, but there's something that's very different about them. All right, lovely. So,
Yeah, they were floating quite a lot.
maybe they were flirting a little bit. Can somebody tell me a little bit about what they understand similes and metaphors to be now? Seth.
Simile uses like or as.
Yes, they do use like or as. That's how we know the difference between the two. If it has a like or as, then it is a simile. Sam and then Noah.
Metaphors, they sort of describe something but not using the word they're describing.
Very good. So it's certainly got to do with the description. there's a key aspect to both of them. Let's see if Noah can tease this aspect out. What do you think?
A metaphor is saying one thing is another thing, and a simile is saying something is like another.
So when we put two things together, what are we making? Starts with the letter C. Not. Thank you, Satoki. Mr. Smarty Pants. So both similes and metaphors, they make a comparison to something else. Why would we make a comparison to something else? Kindler, why would a poet want to make a comparison to something else? What are they trying to create in our minds?
Another way to think about something?
Another way to think about it? Yes. Do you think, Talia, do you think that a poet might be trying to create an image in our minds?
Yes.
What's powerful about someone creating an image in your mind? Noah?
And you can actually visualize it and see what it is.
Yes. Okay, visualize it. Isn't it true that some of us are visual learners?
Yep.
Isn't it true when you hear that statement, a picture paints 1,000 words, that you think, oh yes, when I see something, I understand it better?
That was a metaphor.
That was a metaphor. Well done. So, let's put here, simile, a comparison using like or as. Can somebody give me a quick example of a simile? Adding.
It was as wet as a tomato.
As wet as a tomato.
Red.
Oh, as red as a tomato. That makes a little bit more sense to me. Good. Another one. Molly. It's as sweet as honey. Very good. Well, what sort of a definition could we write for metaphor? Summer.
It's a comparison that's using the actual, like it's saying that you actually are that, not your, it's like that.
Okay, so yeah, we're sort of half there. I'll go to Noah, and then it's something that we were just discussing before. Noah, is that maybe what you're trying to say, Summer?
Yes, that's exactly.
Okay. A comparison. Repeat it again for me, Noah.
A comparison saying one thing is another.
Good. Can anyone think of an example of a metaphor? And when you think of this example, could you perhaps tell me, or tell the class, what is the image or the idea that the author wants us to be thinking about? Samantha, you had an example. What was it?
Like the baby is like a soft, like a chubby is like a big teddy.
Now, because you used the word as, it's not a metaphor, it's a simile. If you said, he is a big cubby bear, then that's a metaphor, because you're saying it is something else. Now, when somebody says that, he is a big cuddly bear, or did you say cubby or cuddly? Chubbly. Chubby bear. What sort of picture in our minds is that writer trying to create? Yeah.
Chubby.
And what else?
Like caring.
Maybe also trying to give us the idea that they're a warm person that could hug you when you're feeling upset or lonely and make you feel better. Noah, what was your example of a metaphor?
He's angry. Well, no, I just say he's a tall giant.
He's what?
He's a tall giant.
He's a tall giant.
Giants and mountains.
Yeah, possibly. That's possible. That's a fair example. Maybe we can find some others that are a little bit.
Angry dad when you get home, like,
This poet here has used a couple of poetic devices. They've definitely used. Well, we'll read it and then tell me what kind of techniques they've used. And the whole thing is a metaphor. They're saying one thing is another. I want to see if you can work out what it is. Let's get Artie to read this out nice and loudly for us.
rows and flows of angel hair and ice cream castles in the air and feathers, canyons everywhere.
Okay. Can somebody tell me there, true or false, this poet has used the poetic device of rhyme? Rathbone, tell us. I'm going to... Sorry. I'm going to underline the words that rhyme in red. You want to share that with us? Here, air, everywhere. Hang on. Hands up, otherwise there's chaos in here if we all call out. Carolina.
Rose and flows. Oh, yes.
Rose flows. Now, you probably thought to yourself that whenever a poet rhymes, that it must be at the end of the verse, but it could be at the beginning or in the middle. Does this poet use alliteration?
No, all in one way, those castles, dream castles, but that's not adding on as something.
Have another read of it. Kindler, read this out for us nice and loudly, but I want you to do it, slowly like Artie did.
Rose and flows of angel hair and ice cream castles in the air and feather canyons everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Noah.
Well, you use it when you say, it's also in the rhyme, you say, that's one sound, and the air sound is like feather.
So, true. Remember yesterday we said that alliteration is a repetition of a consonant sound. What about the repetition of a vowel sound? What word was that? Assonance. Close, Noah. So that would be an example of assonance. But look at this. And k, k, k. What about a metaphor? I'll do this in the pink. I said to you, all of this is a metaphor for something. Who wants to guess what this is a metaphor for? Noah.
I think it's saying, it's talking about clouds.
So Toki, what were you going to say? A birthday party. The last line of this stanza is where she actually tells us what she's talking about.
Yes!
So Noah's correct.
What did it say?
What?
How the hell did he know? Oh my god, I just got it now.
So,
How should
she has said that clouds are angel hair, they are ice cream castles, they are feather canyons.
So like she's picturing.
Yes. So when you think to yourself, can you see that, Artie? When you think to yourself, angel hair, ice cream castles, feather canyons, what characteristic do all of them have in common?
I think of like a narrative and a kid, that type of.
Well, yes, this poem is a narrative. It is like a story of her life. But what colour do we think of when we think of all those? You think of white, don't you? Yep. When you go deeper into this, which we don't have time for, I just wanted to show you this as the metaphor. When you go deeper into it, you see how she talks about them positively and negatively. That's why she says at the end of this, I've looked at clouds that way because they're both positive and negatives about this. So, we're going to focus a little bit now on practicing one of these techniques, which is rhyme. I'm going to rub this out so I can do a few little notes for you. But as I'm rubbing them out, could you please put a heading up in your page, because I know you all spoke about this yesterday, and it was a type of poem which is also the name of a town in Ireland. Does anyone know what that is?
In Ireland?
Yep.
I don't know. Town in Ireland.
And it starts with the letter L.
Limerick.
Well done.
seriously they named it Limerick?
I said it. You said that.
Well, it doesn't really matter who said it first, but congratulations.
I do it, yeah.
So, can somebody tell me what do they already know about a limerick? Sam. See, Sam's got her hand up. That's why I've asked too. Go.
Yep, that's
Sometimes we did it like it was running a pattern, but it didn't matter like sort of what the pattern. But like it would be like not every line has to rhyme.
Okay. So there is a pattern, and you're right. Not every line needs to rhyme, but the important thing to remember about a limerick is that there is some rhymes and there is a certain structure. Does anyone know off the top of their head what the structure of a limerick is? Kindler.
Does it go like, so every two has to rhyme and then the bottom one has to rhyme with the first two, has to rhyme with the first two?
Correct.
Yeah.
Shay, what were you going to say?
I was gonna say like with limericks it goes 7, 6, 5, 4, and then I think it's 7 words on each line.
Could, but we're going to be a little bit more flexible on that. We're going to focus more on what Aidan was saying about the end, the rhyme. So if I read this to you, let's see if Aidan's right. So he said there's rhymes where the last line has to rhyme with the first two. An ambitious young fellow named Matt tried to parachute using his hat. Folks below looked so small as he started to fall, then got bigger and bigger and splat.
Sort of format.
So what do we notice about the way this has been written? Yeah, I know it's correct. I've picked a correct one. Thanks for that, Satoki. what do we notice about the way it has been structured? So, yes, 5 lines. Carolina?
Oh, I was just going to say it sounds like a narrative.
All right, but let's look at the way it's been structured and what's rhyming. Molly?
The first two lines rhyme, and then the line 1 and 2, Matt and Hat line, and then 3 and 4 lines,
Does anything else rhyme with Matt and Hat?
split, and then small and
Very good. So, 1, 2, 5 need to rhyme. 3 and 4 need to rhyme. In your books, what I want you to do is, I want you to write the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then at the end of that line, you're going to need 2 colours for this. At the end of that line, do as I've done. Pink, pink, blue, blue, pink. Obviously, you pick your own 2 colours. No, not yet. So you're going to do 5 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At the end of line 1, you're going to put a pink line. At the end of line 2, you're going to put a pink line.
Wait, do we make our own?
No, so that's all I want you to do at this stage. Put those numbers and those lines. So you need 2 different colours. What I'm going to do on the first line is get us started. I'm going to start this limerick by writing a line. You're then going to start thinking about writing the next line. Yes, Summer?
does it need to be
No. So if you listen to what I said before, it can be any of 2 colours. I've got pink and blue. So I'm going to start this off by saying, yep. There was a young lady from Rome. Natalia, for you to finish the next line, you need to find a word that ends with what? Rome. So it needs to rhyme with Rome. Does it need to have some sort of connection to a young lady from Rome?
No.
Of course it needs to have some sort of connection. Kindler.
Can I tell you what the next sentence is?
Next verse. So I'll give you a few little moments so everyone can start thinking about
I did it wrong.
finishing it off. Yep. There was a young lady from Rome. How will you finish this off? So 30 seconds, I'm going to get some suggestions from you. Goodness me, it's 2:40 already. All right, Kindler.
And she decided to write a poem.
Now, I like how you said that because
And some English people say it like
remember what I said to you before about poetic or creative license, how sometimes poets will change words around or disregard grammar and spelling rules because they want to fit in with their poem. So, Artie,
Yes.
if Kindler has changed the word poem to poem, yes?
Yes.
We as readers are smart enough to understand what he's saying and also that he's trying to make it rhyme. I like that. Can you read it to us again, slowly? So I've got...
And she decided to write.
And she decided to write a poem. Very posh. We now need to write 2 more lines. What's unique about these next 2 lines? Summer.
They need to rhyme with each other, but they don't need to rhyme with the other.
Good. They need to rhyme with each other, but not with Rome poems. And it still needs to have some sort of connection about this young lady writing a poem. Let's have a little go. There was a young lady from Rome, and she decided to write a poem. What comes next? I'll give us a bit of time, Noah. Love your enthusiasm, but I just want to give people a bit of thinking time and then we'll come together. Come together right now. Over me. Okay, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to hear a few of yours, and then we'll make a decision on which one we pick. So this is how I want you to do it. I want you to start from the beginning, and then include your 2. Seth Monahan, let's go.
Say mine.
Yeah, well that's why I called you that now.
There was a man from France.
No.
What?
We're following on from this. So, in a moment, I'll give you an opportunity to write your own. But for this task, I wanted us to continue from this. Who's got a continuation for this? Noah and Summer. Yes, but I want you to start from the beginning and then include your 2 lines.
There was a young lady from Rome, and she decided to write a poem about fairies and pixies with a lot of different trixies, and she did this all one night at home.
Isn't that good? I like that one. Summer,
I've got 2 more lines with my last one as well.
you've got these 2, but not the last one. That's all right. I didn't want you to do the last one at this stage. Go.
There was a young lady from Rome, and she decided to write a poem. She thought it would be quite fun and hopefully not make her family members run. Yeah.
And then we do the continuation.
Run.
Hugh, did you have one?
No.
What about someone on this side? No? Rathbone? Okay. Noah, read yours again slowly. This next one.
About fairies and pixies.
So she's writing a poem about fairies and pixies.
All sorts of trixies.
Now again, trixies is not really a word, is it? But poets are allowed to make up words because we understand what he's trying to say, and he's trying to make it fit in with this. With all sorts of trixies. Yeah.
And then she did this all one night at home.
She did this all one night at home. Or at home. Yes, very good. Kindler, Can you read this for us, since you sort of started us off with this? But I want you to do it in a very, very English, posh manner.
There was a young lady from Rome, and she decided to write a poem about fairies and pixies with all sorts of tricksies. She did this all one night at home.
Oh, well done. Okay. Now over to you. I'm going to give you a few moments now to do something independently. Have a go at writing your own limerick. If it makes it easier for you to write down 1 to 5 and then different colours to remind you what needs to rhyme, by all means do that. If you're happy to just use that as the guide, cool. Are you right, Arden? Yeah. Very excitable today, aren't you? Okay. Give you a few moments to do that. I think given the time, I'll leave the next activity I had planned for another time, which was to give you a piece of paper and get one of you to write the first line, and then swap it with the person down the line. They'd write the second, and then yeah, I think we might do that another time. It is fun. You're right. So Toby had a question.
Something